Sunday morning at the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, the qualifying race, the first of two races for the Blancpain GT Sports Club, and a packed grid, 26 cars, just you can see them coming out of pit lane to work their way around to the grid. The girls already holding up the marker boards to show where they should form up. 25 degrees track temperature, that's fine. Humidity rising very slightly. In fact, as we looked at it, it's just bobbing up and down around the 62, 63% mark. Conditions perfect for racing. Slight cloud in the sky, but a lot of blue to be seen, and already with the championship in the bag last time out at Spa-Francorchamps, Michel Bronicheski, 81 points, nobody can touch him, but Nicolas van Dierendonck will be starting from pole position. He's second in the championship, and Mario Cordoni, who is third, will be starting from fourth place on the grid, with Bronicheski in third. So all the front runners there in the mix. And this championship goes from strength to strength, doubling in size. This is the final round of its second season. Started at Misano this year, running alongside the Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup events. So Misano, Brands Hatch, Paul Ricard, Paul Francorchamps, and now the first weekend in October here in Barcelona. And overall, Martin Lanting leading the way in the Sports Club driver points. 106 points ahead of Stephen Earle and Jan Brunstedt. So Lanting and Earle, they're gunning in the Iron Cup class. This is the points we're looking at now. They're for drivers age 60 and over. And this championship set up by the SRO last year is for bronze level drivers only. Effectively an ideal stepping stone. It's seen as a proving ground between club competition and professional racing, run by a lot of the professional teams involved in the overall Blancpain GT series. Good to see people running to the edge of the balcony to look down onto the grid and looking down from the grandstand. And with 26 cars, it's a full field, and these cars are not racing as they go around, just trying to get some heat into their tyres. This circuit's so difficult for tyre life. You don't want to get too much heat into tyres too quickly. You want them to bite, but the tyres really go away, so a big learning experience. But for these drivers, this is the 25-minute qualifying race. The main race this afternoon is a 40-minute blast, and that will be starting at 10 to 4, 15:50, after the main GT Series final round, which starts at 10 past 2. And the feature race, as I said, is 40 minutes. A slight problem there for Daniel Vogt in the HP Racing Mercedes SLS AMG GT, hoping to get that going, because that's qualified sort of mid-grid on the fifth row, so hopefully he can get that going, get round to the grid, be given a push. But we can see the first two cars starting to feed their way onto the grid. 65, that is starting down middle order, I think we'll say, and that's the Kessel Racing, one of many Kessel Racing cars. That's Alexis de Bernardi. 111, well, that's Stephen Earle. He's in for a tilt at the Iron Cup. It's between he and Martin Lanting. It's good the drivers put their professions on the door. Stephen Earle, a medical doctor from Pennsylvania. So good to have him. He's been commuting to Europe for years for his racing. Massive Ferrari fan. A lot of Ferraris on the grid, mainly 458 Italias, but we have two 488 GTEs, this year's newest shape of car. And for the first time this weekend, we have a Lamborghini Huracan 2016 specification. That'll be starting on the outside of the front row. Ex-Bionic Racing team with Cedric Lima. Cars do look great, and it really is appreciated how much people have been putting special effort into the liveries. So you don't get all your Ferraris in red. We have blue ones, we have red and blue ones, we have white ones, red, black and white ones. Plenty of variety. Likewise with the Audi R8 LMS, we have 4 of those, and they're all completely different in hue. So this race due to start in just over 10 minutes time, and the grid now starting to warm up. And one of the cars that's quite easy to identify from the front is the 177 Ferrari. You might have seen it with the red and white, but with the black and white more, if you will, the shark teeth on the grille of that car. So car 11, already the champion, Michel Bronicheski, starting from the inside of the second row. You can just see the rump of the pole starting Corvette of Nicolas van Dierendonck. And he had a very good run in qualifying and was just over a quarter of a second clear of Cedric Lima's Lamborghini. A lot of people here taking photographs. And one of the most distinctive cars, Coach Mackenzie's Lamborghini Gallardo. Hard to spot. Well, he thinks it's disguised, but we can spot it quite easily. But green, lurid green, not quite the regular Lamborghini green, maybe a few degrees off, but with those black stripes, it really is outstanding for the German racer. That's Coach Mackenzie, car number 17, pulling on to the inside of the 8th row. You can see Ferrari in front, Audi behind, very much the pattern of the cars here And for a lot of these drivers, this is a stepping stone. For some of the older racers, with that Iron Cup trophy to be aimed for the over 60s and over, it still gives them something really big to gun for against people of their own age. And for others, it's a stepping stone. We've seen people coming through here into the main Blancpain GT series. Anthony Pons, huge amount of experience on the French GT scene, just being pushed back into position. So as you can see, his livery largely red, but with white, silver and black stripes upon it. Still waiting for the car to come into 4th place on the grid. It's Mario Cordoni's Ferrari. And looking around, we're still missing a couple of cars coming around to the grid. Still missing that Daniel Fogt Mercedes that we saw stalled out around the circuit. Hopefully that can get going. But Mario Cordoni, right in the mix in the championship, should be starting from the outside the front row. And here he comes, car 49 in the nick of time, just comes from my right, out of the final corner of this 16-turn, 4.655 kilometre circuit, and he'll go past the shark teeth on the nose of number 177. We just pointed that out earlier. That's Fons Schetelma, Dutch racer, new to the championship this weekend. 5 drivers making their championship debut in this, the final round. The Baporo Motorsport Ferrari 458 for Jaime Foncasas, Spanish racer. Kessel Racing, Fons Schetelma with those shark teeth, Dutch racer. Classic and modern racing, Eric Cairol in their 458 Italia Ferrari. Eric had been racing for years, first in Formula 3 and then in GTs for an age. The ex-Bionic Racing team, Cedric Lima Lamborghini on the outside of the front row. That's new this weekend. And also Spanish team, Monau Competición, brought one of the really exciting Renault RS01s. And that's for Jürgen Smet, Belgian racer. That's sort of towards just after the midpoint on the grid. But there is our pole starter. That's Nicolas van Dierendonck, the Celesla Racing Corvette C6 ZR1. Still makes the best rumble of the lot. You can pick that out as it comes down the start-finish straight without looking out of the window. But a car that's getting long in the teeth, but still clearly very effective in trim. There is the Lamborghini on the outside of the front row. Debut in the championship this weekend for Cedric Lima, Swiss racer. He knows this is the qualifying race. This is a 25-minute race. The feature race this afternoon is for 40 minutes. And as with the Blancpain GT series, this race will give points to the top 6 finishers. 8 for the winner, 6 for second, then 4, 3, 2, 1 from 3rd through to 6th place. And the main race, again, being run by the SRO, has more points on offer for the top 10 drivers, 25 for first, 18 for second, 15 for third, etc., down to 1 point for 10th. There is Mario Cordoni outside of row 2. Made it, whatever the drama was that kept him in the pits. He was at the last one round to the grid, but we do have a car missing from the inside of the 5th row, which would make it, of course, Daniel Fog's Mercedes. We saw spun out and stopped out on the circuit. Looking to my right to see if I can see him coming round, but whatever the problem is, it's going to preclude him starting this race. So for the driver who's starting behind, Anthony Pons, we had a look at his 72 Ferrari. He'll have a nice clear run down to the first corner without so many cars to pass. Eric Cairol, been racing for decades now. Jean-Michel Bert, he's starting from inside of row 4 for W Racing Team Audi. It's black livery. The camera works, wonderful to be swept around the cars, see them from all sides. And then 488, one of the 2 488 GTEs in this race, Patrick van Glabaker. Thumbs up from Patrick. See what he can do on the run down to the first corner. And as we saw in the qualifying race for the Blancpain GT series this morning, 5 abreast is possible on the way into turn 1. We think these drivers might be that little bit more gentlemanly, but it doesn't always lead to 5 abreast coming out of turn 2. And drivers penalised for running off the circuit and gaining positional advantage. I don't expect quite the same this time around, but let's see what the drivers think and look for the grunt of that Corvette. Let's go down the grid from the front. The Chevrolet, the Lamborghini on the front row. Then it's Ferrari land on row 2. Bronicheski and Cordoni. More Ferraris on row 3. Foncasas and Eric Cairol. Go to row 4. It's the Audi of Jean-Michel Bert and Patrick van Glabaker in one of the 2 488s. Then the missing Mercedes, but alongside there is a Mercedes, which is Maurice Ricci from ACA ASP. Enjoy the sights of these cars as we work our way back. So distinctive with their different liveries, and it's always appreciated when they make the effort. On the far side of the grid, the 98 Jan Brunstedt JB Motorsport Audi, fierce supporter of this championship, and we work down towards the tail of the grid, and we've got two of the Sansalot Racing Audis, Claude-Yves Gosselin, number 5, and Pierre Felioni on the other side of the grid, joined by Jean-Paul Bouffin. So it's Audis at the back, it's Chevrolet, Lamborghini, and then a tranche of Ferraris up at the front. 25 minutes this race will be, going for points only for the top 6 finishers. So waved away on their formation lap. Let's hope they all come back round. We've already lost, unfortunately, non-starting Daniel Fogg, the number 18 HP Racing Mercedes, didn't make it round from the pits. Everybody else, apart from one of the drivers, hasn't managed to get away as yes, it's the driver, no, it's Stephen Earle. Or is it? Ahead of Alexis de Bernardi. Sorry, it's Klaus-Dieter Freres, and now he gets going. He's in the second. That's the other 488 Ferrari. So for the German racer Klaus-Dieter Freres, entered by Artega Rennsport, the first time this weekend, gets it going. So a little hiccup, and waiting for one more Ferrari to get it hooked up off the grid. So he's got to get his way back past those Audis. Up ahead of him. So leading the field around on this formation lap is Nicolas van Dierendonck in that white and blue Chevrolet, and here's the starting grid. You can see them coming round. So it's the Corvette at the front, Van Dierendonck. Cedric Leimer in the black Lamborghini will start on alongside Bronicheski in the red and black Ferrari, and Mario Cordoni in the white, blue and yellow. That's the second row. Foncasas, new to the championship, his Ferrari 93, alongside Eric Cairol. Then the first of the Audis, Jean-Michel Baer, alongside Patrick Van Glabaker in his 488. Daniel Fogg will be missing from 9th on the grid in the number 18 Mercedes, leaving Ritchie alone on the 5th row. Then Pons and Ulrich, this is Ferrari land in the middle of the grid. Lanting and Earl alongside each other, they are the two going for glory in the Iron Cup. Coach McKenzie had a spin yesterday in the Lamborghini Gallardo, not too much damage, so it's out to fight today. Jan Brunstedt from Sweden, Alexis de Bernardi in his Ferrari alongside. Now we're on to row 10. Von Scheltelmer, new to the championship, he's the one with the shark teeth on the nose. Behind De Pundert and Leon Price, up from South Africa, but really lives in the Middle East. Then Sonnen and Gosselin, then we go to the final row of the grids. It's 4 Audis at the back. Pierre Felioni and Jean-Paul Bouffin, 26 cars, but we are missing the number 18 Mercedes. So 25 cars will go out to play in this qualifying race. On pole by 0.277 of a second is the rumbling Corvette from Salazar Racing Team. Nicolas van Dierendonck at the wheel. Drivers still snaking their way around the circuit on this formation lap, all just aware conditions are pretty good, but the track temperature is rising as we go. That's the view looking from turn 10. That's the hairpin that ends the the middle section of the circuit. You can see the highest point on the track, which is turn 9 in the background, where the drivers go over that blind brow. And most of them stay within the confines of the circuit, but you really need to get your car placed perfectly on the corner. Now looking across the track at turn 10, turn 11, the little kink, and then the start of that long right-hander. The Audi that's leading them round is just turning through turn 12. And if you can hold the inside line that we see the Corvette on, that is a very good place to be. You don't want to drift out wide because it's a very short little straight that follows before you get to one of the other tight corners on the circuit, which is turn 13, down the little slope to the right, and then to that very fiddly 14 and 15 turns. They are the little left-right chicane before the final corner. Turn 16 has them sweeping onto the start-finish straight, but obviously if you don't make a tidy exit from turn 15, if you bounced over the curbs, can't get your power down as fast as you had if you'd kept the car on terra firma, and you're delayed on your acceleration onto the start-finish straight. But right now, for all the drivers, they know they're waiting for the Audi car to peel off into the pit lane. The lights are off on the roof of that. So for Nicolas van Dierendonck on the inside of the front row and Cedric Leimer in the Lamborghini on the outside, they should be side by side, sweeping onto the start-finish straight. All eyes up on towards the gantry to see who is going to get the start best when the lights go from red to green. They're holding, waiting to see the lights on the gantry. They're still red, the field bunching up absolutely as they should. The lights go green, and the power of all the horses being released. It looks as though Van Dierendonck's done just enough to get his head whole car length ahead. I thought he'd be half a car length clear. He's now pulled in front of Cedric Leimer in the Lamborghini. Anyone going for a brave dive into the inside? It looks as though the lead is Van Dierendonck's, and everybody in grid formation at the front, perhaps possibly gaining a place, well, gaining some by going off the circuit, but that will be a warning. Cairol gained a place up into 5th place in number 300. So 93 to Jaime Foncasas lost a couple of positions. In fact, Ricci has just gone round the outside of him in the Mercedes. But what a great start from Nicolas van Dierendonck in the rumbling Corvette. He's got 3-4 car lengths clear of the Lamborghini of Cedric Lima as they go down, and they're turning through the mountains in the background through turn 4. Then they get to one of the really tricky corners, very blind on turn, and this is turn 5, downhill you go. And certainly what we're seeing is Cordoni's held on to 4th place, but in 3rd place, 46 didn't make it around. So Klaus-Dieter Frers, he had problems getting away at the start of the formation lap, and clearly they have continued. He's parked his new 488 in the pits. But the real chase at the moment is Michel Bronicheski, so successful in the Blancpain GT series this year. He's already wrapped up this championship, the Blancpain GT Sports Club. Look at his Ferrari tucked under the rear wing of Cedric Lima's Lamborghini. Out of turn 9, down the slope they go. But in fact, Lima made a better exit, has opened out about a 2-car length advantage. Oh, Leon Price has gone for a spin early on the lap. That looks like turn 5, I think. Yeah, the start of the downhill sweep. So the South African racer out of the race early on. He'll be enormously frustrated, but will be able to start from the back of the grid for the feature race this afternoon. Number 12 going well in his Audi, Jean-Michel Baird, definitely the best of the Audis. And in fact, what we're seeing now is the Lamborghini of Cedric Lima is starting to close on our pole starter, on Nicolas van Dierendonck. But that's at the tighter points on the circuit, and then the power is unleashed out of the turn 14, 15, onto the start-finish straight up. Now we're looking forward from Michel Bronicheski, and it seems as though the Lamborghini's got a really good run. Can he close in much? It's 0.4 of a second, just under half a second between the Corvette leading the race, Cedric Lima closing in behind, but in turn, in fact, Michel Bronicheski catching him, and Mario Cordoni in the white, blue and yellow Ferrari catching him as well. Then it's Eric Cairol, and Maurice Ritchie has gained 4 places. One was a gift because Fogg didn't start the race, but 10th to 6th for the 89 Mercedes. There is Michel Bronicheski carrying the onboard camera, but he's now being closed down on Mario Cordoni. They've had some great races between the two of them. And team manager and driver of car number 11 to stewards after the race. Oh dear, that's Michel Bronicheski, who's running in 3rd place at the moment. Now Cedric Lima looking very feisty as he shapes up to make a move. That's turn 5, didn't stick, wasn't quite close enough, but he's doing what he can to unsettle our race leader, Nicolas van Dierendonck. Just checking someone's pulling into the pits in an Audi. I'll let you know who that is in a moment. But out front, it's super, super tight. Cedric Lima in that Lamborghini on his debut in the championship. This year's brand new Lamborghini Huracan really fancies his chances of not just catching but passing. Let's see, coming down the slope from turn 9 to turn 10, up the inside is the classic overtaking place. And just as Cedric Lima thought he might go there, he found the nose of number 11, Michel Bronicheski, showing his greater experience, thinking he'd have a go. And all that's actually helped our race leader. Van Dierendonck was able there to gain another car length as those fought behind him over 2nd place. But it does seem the Lamborghini and the number 11 Ferrari do have the pace to catch up with the 63 Corvette. But here at the circuit, Barcelona Catalunya, as it's now known, it's very, very difficult to find a way past. You've got to be supremely positive to make a move like that stick. And it was Jean-Paul Bouffin who brought the Audi in. Gap between 1st and 2nd, it's gone out from 0.472 to 0.501 of a second, so next to no gain at all. But you'd have to say that Bronicheski in the red and black Ferrari is looking very positive, and Cordoni behind him. Then comes Eric Cairol after a short gap. Then comes Maurice Ritchie, and he's got Patrick Van Glabacker in his 488 Ferrari tucked in behind. And there is Jean-Michel Baird. We saw him before the start of the race. He's now behind Stephen Earle, so Earle has gained quite a few positions in the early laps of the race, gained about 4 places. So the doctor from the States absolutely having a cracking run on Sunday morning here at the circuit. So there is the number 9 Jean-Paul Bouffin Audi. It was limping in, not sounding good. And there's a change to the lead, because into the lead goes Cedric Lima, and his Nicolas van Dierendonck going to lose a further place. The next corner is 6 and 7, not likely overtaking places, but it was the lead at the start of the lap by half a second. But Cedric Lima had been looking positive, and he just pulled off the move to take the lead of the race. Was ahead by the time they turned into turn 5, so possibly what happened on the approach to turn 4. Now, will the Corvette be able to hold 2nd place? My feeling was that the 3 cars behind him were quicker. But let's see, looking forward through the windscreen of Michel Bronicheski's Ferrari, down the inside, classic place. Can he make it stick into turn 10? Yes, he can. He tried to do it up the inside of the Lamborghini last time for 2nd place, didn't work. Now he's got that 2nd place. Now he's got to carry on chasing the Lamborghini, and it's the turn of Mario Cordoni in 4th to see if he can get past the Corvette number 63 of our pole man, Nicolas van Dierendonck. This race is 25 minutes. We've already had the first 5.5, and our pole man, who thought he got it all done at the start, pulling away from the inside of the front road, led into the first corner, and now he finds himself back in 3rd. He's got to compose himself And see, not only can he keep Cordoni behind him, but can he start to do anything about catching up again with Michał Broniczewski? Cedric Lima, a lead of 1.3 seconds. What an effective lap that was. He was half a second down on the Corvette at the start of the lap. He's 2 places and nearly 2 seconds ahead as they start lap number 4. What we're also seeing is Maurice Ritchie. Who's that coming? I think that's Jaime Foncasas coming out of the pit, making it for Baporo Motorsport. So a pit stop not really recommended in a 25-minute race. So that will drop him down the order. And of course, the finishing positions in this race dictate the starting positions for the main race, the 40-minute race this afternoon. So everyone trying to work their way to the front, but the person who's doing that with the greatest effect, clearly, Cedric Lima in the 963 Lamborghini Huracan. 1-1-1. That's Stephen Earle in 8th place. Jean-Michel Béat behind him, and Conrad Ulrich in Ferrari number 51, just in the back of shot. But what they're getting in the back of shot is the leading pack coming through. So already for the leaders, they've got people up ahead. These need to start picking off. There is a battle. Cordoni chasing after the Corvette of Nicolas van Dierendonck, leading the way down to turn 9 again, not turn 10, I beg your pardon. It's a change of manoeuvre. It happened before. Is it close enough this time for Cordoni? Can he get his braking done? Yes, he can into turn 10. Then they have the flick of turn 11, so it's been a bad lap and a half for our poleman. He's gone from 1st down to 4th place. So for 63, Nicolas van Dierendonck started on pole, led into turn 1, led for a handful of laps, and now is finding himself on lap 4, down in 4th place, because Mario Cordoni in the number 49 Ferrari from the AF Corsa stable has got through. And in fact, Eric Kyrol is the next driver coming into the mix. His Ferrari number 300, there it is in the background of the shot, as they about a second and a half down on the Corvette as they sweep onto the start-finish straight. That's 3rd, the Corvette in 4th, and Eric Kyrol's Ferrari in 5th. Gap between 1st and 2nd, there's next to no difference in terms of lap time. So let's look, there's the first 5, then Maurice Ritchie in 6th. We've got to see the driver leading 2 Ferraris back, the red one in the middle of the track, that's Stephen Earle leading the Iron Cup. He's 4 positions ahead of Martin Lanting, so number 111 Ferrari leading the Iron Cup. Martin Lanting in number 48 is 4 places and about 3.5 seconds behind him, so still perfectly close enough for Lanting to take a tilt and go off after Stephen Earle, but it's been a really good opening few laps. And we're seeing a few drivers like 93 forcing its way back up the order. That's Jaime Foncasas after the unplanned pit visit. Car 51 just seeing there, that's Christoph Ulrich. Now let's have a look. This is the move. It was down into turn 5 that it happened. He came from, it's almost as though there was a missed gear by the Corvette driver, Van Dierendonck, as they came out of turn 4. Just didn't seem to have the oomph that you'd expect from it, and Cedric Lima didn't need a second invitation. He'd already been starting to shape up to make the move, and then for Van Dierendonck it got worse, down the inside, further around the lap, into turn 10. He tried this move before. Michał Broniczewski didn't work when he tried to do it to Lima, but it certainly worked. And then, unfortunately, bad to worse for Van Dierendonck, because he's now been dropped by Mario Cordoni and is back in 4th place in the race, and he's being lined up by Eric Kyrol, the red and white Ferrari behind. There's number 300, Kyrol, faster last time around by 7/8 tenths of a second. It's getting quite feisty down the middle of the order, and that was, I think, Stephen Earle being given a little push to the side. So for Martin Lanting, suddenly it's getting much closer. 51 is Conrad Ulrich. He's in the mix now. Where is, just at the back of that pack of Ferraris, is Martin Lanting in 48. So that wasn't a good moment at all for Earle. He's now got Ulrich right with him, and in fact Foncasas of the blue-nose Ferrari is really getting in the way. Well, he's trying to work his way through it. What is a cracking battle for the middle order. For now, it's still Stephen Earle leading the Iron Cup class, just trying to see how many positions behind. Just 3 positions behind now is the 48 Ferrari of Martin Lanting. He's in that little pack at the back. We'll keep an eye on that one for sure. And Jamie Foncasas is not in that mix. He has had a pit stop. He's running alongside them, but not in the mix as far as they're concerned. So ignore the blue-nosed, red-tailed Ferrari. 48, there is the white roof, red-bodied Ferrari 458 Italia of Martin Lanting. Couldn't be much closer in the charge for Iron Cup, and making another position gain there. Von Scheltelmer, the Ferrari 177, goes past Coach McKenzie's Lamborghini, the extravagantly striped Lamborghini, black on green. 48, Stephen Earle, been pushed very hard indeed by Alexis de Bernardi, Luxembourg Bourgeois Racing in the Kessel Racing Ferrari. That's number 65. Blue and yellow and black. Hard to know where to look next. Certainly the 458 and occasional 488 Ferraris having an incredible scrap in the middle order. 111, is that a place being gained by Stephen Earle? No, I think he was just picking his way past a slower runner, but he's got the track position advantage in the Iron Cup. He's 9th. Championship challenger rival Martin Lanting is in 12th. This is the qualifying race, do not forget, but points are allocated to the first 6 overall, the first 6 in the classes. So the Iron Cup will have its own allocation of 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 points. Stephen Earle now, the pack is almost onto his tail. Stephen Earle, Conrad Ulrich, number 51, riding behind number 72 is Anthony Ponce, and then just in the background behind them should be Martin Lanting, looking for 48, just running off the tail of that group. There is a little gap behind, 2 cars back from the blue nose Ferrari is the Iron Cup challenger, Martin Lanting. It's the red one with the white roof. You can see he's about a second down on that group ahead. If they can delay themselves by fighting so hard with each other, he should be able to get onto their tail. 93, Puncture. He's had that visit to the pit, so he's a lap down on them. Up at the front of the field, it's 2.6 seconds between the Lamborghini and Cedric Lima leading the way from Michel Bronicheski. There's still an incident between... Okay, sorry, that's an information thing on my screen that's about cars in the qualifying race for the Blancpain GT series. It's under investigation, so the stewards getting busy here on the Sunday morning in Barcelona. Enthralling battle for the Iron Cup, but even if it wasn't the Iron Cup, just for the middle order, Stephen Earle holding down the 111 Ferrari in 9th place, but Conrad Ulrich right on his tail in the 51 Ferrari, behind but not in the battle. A lap down is Jaime Fontcasas, but then Anthony Ponce in 72, and just not able to quite keep up with him. In fact, he seems to have lost a bit of ground on this lap, is Martin Lanting in 48, and he's got his hands full staying ahead of Alexis de Bernardi. We've also got 110.7, Fonchantelma, slow closing in as well. So battles within the overall battle. In the background of that shot, not so far back, about 5 seconds further back, is the only car in the Extra Cup class. It's the Monlau Competition Renault RS01. Oh dear! Jean-Michel Baer has just slid off from what was 8th place. So for Stephen Earle and the others, they all go up several positions. He looks so he's slotting back in. He's lost about 6 or 7 positions. And in fact, the last car to go past him is Jan Brunstedt, fallen behind Coach McCanty in the green Lamborghini. There's Brunstedt, the green and yellow Audi. And now Jean-Michel Baer, who was the best placed of all the Audis after qualifying, starting from the inside of row 4, has found himself sort of in the mix of drivers who started on rows 8 and 9. So that was a costly little slip-up, but he's still in the race, still back going. Now Stephen Earle is being pushed. Conrad Ulrich has been trying, but just running. Now he's compromised himself with that dive down the inside in turn 1 and maybe passed by the blue nose Ferrari, number 93, with Jaime Fontcasas. And in fact, the attempted dive by Ulrich has rather backfired. It's given a tiny bit of breathing space to Stephen Earle. For those chasing, is that out of sequence 93 Ferrari a nuisance? Well, it's perfectly entitled to be racing there, but he is a lap down. I can't see any blue flags being waved at him, so sort of in their way, but probably actually the fastest of this quartet, but can't work his way to the front. And unfortunately, we saw Jean-Paul Bouffin pull in on the opening lap, and whatever fix they tried to effect has not worked, but he has a chance to go out, of course, in the main race, the 40-minute race this afternoon. Gap between first and second while we look at this enthralling battle with the Iron Cup class leader, Stephen Earle, now up into 8th place after that Audi slip-up. The gap between first and second between the Lamborghini of Cedric Lima just starting another lap, and Michel Bronicheski in the number 11 Ferrari, 3.094 seconds. The gap actually came down very slightly in favour of the Ferrari driver last time around. Into the final 10 minutes. It's a 25-minute quick-fire, high-action race this morning. All the drivers aware, though, yes, if you gain a position, you'll be starting one place further up on the grid for the feature race, the 40-minute race. But if you slip up, you can go to the back of the grid, and that affects the race that hands out the most points, big points for the feature race. Handful of points this morning, just for the top 6 runners, which at the moment is Cedric Lima, Michel Bronicheski, 49. That's Mario Cordoni. There he comes on your screens in third place. Behind car number 63 is in fourth place, which is Nicolas van Dierendonck. He hasn't been picked off by Eric Cairol's Ferrari yet, staying just over a second ahead of that. And Maurice Ritchie taking the final point at the minute for sixth place in his Mercedes. Alexis de Bernardi still has, in fact, just picked up a position. He's just moved ahead of Anthony Pons. So the 65 now ahead of the 72 to take 10th place overall. The driver who, he's not causing a jam at all, he's just at the front of the pack, is Stephen Earle, 8th place at the moment. He's 15 seconds down on Patrick Van Glabacker, so he's not going to make that up in the final 9 minutes of the race, and very much keeping his eyes on his mirrors, because any points he can gain over in the Iron Cup class will be very, very welcome indeed. But he's 4 places clear of Martin Lanting in their battle for the Iron Cup, but with the drivers between not in the Iron Cup, it will be a case of only 2 points gained. 8 points for him for winning the Iron Cup class in this qualifying race, and 6 points for his rival Martin Lanting. Martin running just under 2.5, 3 seconds behind, but leading the race and controlling it comfortably at the moment. Here comes the ex-Bionic Racing Team Lamborghini Huracan, new this year, Cedric Lima, 3.5 seconds clear, and he gained 4/10 on that lap. Now he's got clear track, and I'm just looking for groupings of cars. I think he's probably going to have a clear run to the finish of this 25-minute race. Quite a gap now at 5.8 seconds between second and third. There's Mario Cordoni in third. A similar type of gap, no, slightly less, 3.5 seconds back to Van Dierendonck in the Chevrolet in fourth place. Eric Cairol, Maurice Ritchie, Patrick Van Glabacker, and then there's the gap of about, I think it's about 15 seconds back to Stephen Earle, who's leading that gaggle of Ferraris. And here comes that gaggle of Ferraris. Earle, in fact, he's gone out to 18 seconds between Van Glabacker in 7th place and Stephen Earle in 8th. Conrad Ulrich 9th, and having gained the place on that lap, Alexis de Bernardi, there he is, number 65, in 10th place overall. Oh, and then Stephen Earle goes for a spin. Will Martin Lanting go past? Yes, he has. So suddenly, with 7 minutes remaining in the race, Stephen Earle, was he helped? No, he's missing a bit of a tyre at the back, so he's had a rear right puncture from the driver's point of view. That presumably is what pitched him into the spin. So he had it all under control. Yes, you can see the remains of the carcass moving around under the wheel, but sudden deflation there, well, both on the tyre and in the cockpit, because Stephen Earle had that all very much under control. So suddenly Martin Lanting is now going to take maximum points. Let's have a look at the replay. And he was pitched into a spin here. The tyre has already deflated. There was no contact. Great miss from those behind as they dived either side. Conrad Ulrich went one side and managed to get out of the way. Everyone else ducked up the other side. But that was like a sudden deflation for Stephen Earle. So Martin Lanting now going to take the maximum Iron Cup points this morning, and Jan Brunstedt will move up to second in the Iron Cup class. So bad luck indeed for the American racer. Don't expect to be able to limp back to the pits. Maybe he won't try. He don't want to do much more damage to the car. At the moment, it's only restricted to the tyre itself. You don't want to be damaging the bodywork. There is Martin Lanting in number 48, ahead of 177, who's had a very strong race. 177's picked its way up the order from the 10th row, from 19th on the order up to 13th. So for Von Scheltelmer, that's been a great race. Here's Kessel Racing for tail coming out from Alexis de Bernardi. He's one of the few drivers who's been working his way successfully up through the pack, gaining places. Down the slope we come. The blue-nosed Ferrari not in the battle. He's a lap down after an earlier pit stop. Alexis de Bernardi comes down the slope in 9th place. Anthony Pons in 10th behind. Von Scheltelmer in the mix. Martin Lanting in the mix. Martin Lanting in 11th place overall, now leading the Iron Cup. And here is that Ferrari limping its way back round, but putting off the circuit to keep out of the way. That Puncture. Well, he obviously is going to bring it back to the pits because he's just gone through turn 11, 16 turns on the track. So, but by driving slowly, he hasn't led to any more ripping apart of that tyre carcass, because the damage comes when that starts flailing around. He's obviously kept it still as a round element. He's just approaching turn 13 now, but under 5 minutes to go. Cedric Lima twisting his way through turns 14 and 15. That's how close behind the second place Michel Bronicheski is. But don't forget, he's still got a warning that he and his team manager have to go and see the race control after the race. Let's go on board for a lap. This is the view through the windscreen of Michel Broniszewski's Kessel Racing Ferrari down the start-finish straight. It seems fairly level. It's slightly sloping. Now it dips down towards turn 1, and in the distance ahead of him, 3.7 seconds clear of him, is our race leader, the Lamborghini of Cedric Lima from the ex-Bionic Racing Team. Through turn 1, turn 2, clumping the curve on the apex of turn 2, getting pushed out a little bit wide. So I think Michel Broniszewski would rather we hadn't seen that particular moment. Now he calms down, keeps it through turn 3, runs towards the outside of the circuit. Such a long right-handed corner. Just give yourself a time to get your equilibrium back, and into a similar corner, turn 4. Again, turning to the right, a tighter apex on this one. And now one of the trickiest corners on the track approaching. You can see the big grandstand in the distance, and then you have to spot your moment as you arrive at it, which is trying to find the apex at turn 5 as the track falls away. They're unfortunately back in the pits. Obviously they put a new wheel on for the feature race, but for Stephen Earle, had it all under control, was running in 8th overall, under pressure from behind, but he mastered it. He's obviously decided he's going to go and get at least a couple of points. I'm just trying to see how many drivers are racing in the Iron Cup. 1, 2, 3, 6 drivers. So if he goes out, he'll pick up a point. Every point is possible because he will be coming 6th in class. Good to see him back out there. 3 and a bit minutes remaining. Michel Broniszewski again riding on board with him. Turn 10, turn 11. Now we're going through the long right-hander at turn 12, and the short blast along the top of the hill. The track used to go straight on at this point and then curve in front of those red and yellow grandstands, but in recent years it's been curtailed, cut short, turn right at turn 13, then turn 14 followed by 15. It's about getting your power down as soon as you can out of turn 15, so you can just be flat through turn 16. No time to look at the mountains in the background, even the mountainous grandstand. I'm up in that top left there, you know. And down the start-finish straight we go to start another lap, but the gap has gone out. It was 3.7 seconds, it's 4.0 seconds now. There you can see the confirmation of that. The Lamborghini on the screen, 4.032 seconds clear. And then almost 9 seconds further back is 49, Mario Cordoni. I thought he had a chance in this race. He got ahead of Nicolas van Dierendonk's Chevrolet some while back, but he hasn't managed to drop it. And 5th place, Eric Cairo not far behind. Maurice Ritchie, 6th. In his Mercedes, and then Patrick Van Glabacker, he's had a quiet race in 488 red and gunmetal Ferrari, new car this year, the 488, and running smoothly, but not able to do anything about Maurice Ritchie ahead, just under 4 seconds down on him, but still a good run towards points. Points actually go down to Maurice Ritchie. Patrick Van Glabacker won't be towards the points, he is at the back, and again the sharp-nosed Ferrari. That sounds wrong, that was 1961. But the Ferrari with the shark teeth written on it, drawn on its nose, is having a good race. There it is from Scheltelmer. He's chasing very hard after Martin Lanting. This is the battle for 10th place. Scheltelmer came up from 19th on the grid. He's up to 12th in that distinctive car. Just ahead of Coach McKenzie's Lamborghini Gallardo. And then Jean-Michel Bert, who is down in 14th in that black Audi. Should be better placed, but he had, unfortunately for him, that moment off in the gravel and he lost about 7 or 8 places. Martin Lanting heading that 48 Ferrari, 1 minute to go until the checkered flag will be unfurled, so he'll be taking maximum points in the Iron Cup. Front of the race, just waiting for Broniszewski to cross the start-finish line, 4.3 seconds, so the gap going out between the race-leading Lamborghini and the second place Kessel Racing Ferrari. Mario Cordoni just crossing beneath me now with the rumble of the Van Dierendonck Corvette that sounds a little bit closer this time around as they dive down towards turn 1. So here we are on the final lap of the race. Cedric Lima heading to victory in his ex-Racing Bionic team. Lamborghini Huracan in the background. Close but not able to close in. 4 and a bit seconds down is Michel Broniszewski, the number 11 Kessel Racing Ferrari. Van Dierendonck, well, great, right now on the tail of Mario Cordoni. He's got the charge coming, goes out of down the slope. That was out of turn 3. Can't get close enough to do anything about it at turn 4. We saw a mistake, we think, from him early in the race where he lost position out of that very corner, turn 4, and ceded the lead to Cedric Lima down the inside of the corner where they are now at turn 5. No such problems this time around, but Cordoni holds on in 3rd place around this final lap of the qualifying race for the Blancpain GT Sports Club. So he thought he might have got a better position in that Corvette, but he was picked off by 3 rivals. So it wasn't just one mistake, but the costly mistake was letting Cedric Lima through, because up until that point the Corvette seemed to have it all under control, but Cedric Lima will be approaching the start-finish line anytime soon, because down the third and fourth place cars go to turn 10. Very defensive line into the hairpin at the end of the infield straight from Mario Cordoni. And now here towards the very end of the lap, turn 14 is negotiated, turn 15 by Cedric Lima, ex-Bionic Racing Team, Lamborghini Huracan, first appearance in the Blancpain GT Sports Club, and first victory. The flag is unfurled, flown, crosses the line. Tidy advantage there at the end of the race. It was 4 and a bit seconds, 4.450 seconds. Who's going to come home third? It will be Mario Cordoni. Ahead of Van Dierendonk's Corvette. And the last two cars to score points outright, top 6 places, were Cairol and 89, Maurice Ritchie, the red and black ACA ASP Mercedes in the background. Patrick Van Glabiker ran a race pretty much on his own. He gets home in 7th, no points, but a good grid position for the feature race this afternoon after the Blancpain GT Series finale. Still fighting down towards the tail of the field, and 51. That's Konrad Ulrich holding down 8th place. The car behind is a lap down. Has enjoyed a good fight with him, but now the final places. Coach McKenzie should be just outside the top 10. Yeah, Alexis de Bernardi takes 9th. Anthony Pons 10th. Martin Lanting wins the Iron Cup in 11th place. Jan Brunstedt will take 2nd points in class. He's a few positions further back down the track, but Lanting takes the 8 points for victory in the Iron Cup. Brunstedt 2nd, and it should be car number 25, which is the Audi from W Racing Team, Louis-Philippe Cernan. He'll be next to take the start-finish line. Final few cars coming home, including Stephen Earle, who had that little trip up when he had a tyre go down and cost him the lead in class. He limped his way back round, and in fact has picked up the points for 4th in class, so it was worth going back out. He's picked up 3 points. He could have come away with none. So 2 cars failed to finish the race. 3 cars, sorry. Jean-Paul Bouffin ended up in the pit. So we had 26 starters and we had 23 finishers. And the winner, 963, debut in the championship for the ex-Bionic Racing Team. He's running around in 2nd place there, but he has taken victory. And the car that's leading him home is Michel Bronicheski, who finished 2nd. The car finished 3rd, the Ferrari of Mario Cordoni in the background. And behind them, our pole starter, Nicolas Van Dierendonck, in that rumbling Corvette, comes home in 4th place. You can see 15 seconds covering 1st through to 4th, but Cedric Lima takes the honours. Michel Bronicheski, he's used to arriving at the podium, 4 and a bit seconds down in 2nd, and then Mario Cordoni doing just enough to hold off Nicolas Van Dierendonck. Points down to Maurice Ritchie in 6th place. Points, though, maximum points for the Iron Cup to 11th place finisher, and that is Martin Lanting. Jan Brunstedt, there he is in 15th place. He takes 2nd points in the Iron Cup, and 3rd place go to Louis-Philippe Cernan. There you have it in 19th place, minute and a half down. The top 20 cars all on the top lap, and Jaime Foncasas, after that early pit stop, ended up lapped, but he drove a strong race, and you feel this afternoon he's got plenty more to offer. Already the top 3 finishers just parking beneath the podium, but the race winner is Cedric Lima, and you can already see the smile on the face of his engineer, leaning in and saying, well, that's rather good, isn't it, to the Swiss racer? Yes, we like this championship. So Cedric, that was a good job, and he had to fight for that. He had to really push Nicolas Van Dierendonck very hard indeed, and was it a mistake coming out of turn 4 or whatever happened, certainly carrying more speed into turn 5, diving down the inside and taking victory in class. It's that man there, Cedric Lima, and earns the applause of the team. So that was a very good morning's work. He's got to do it all over again this afternoon, and their 2nd race, the 40-minute race for the Blancpain GT Sports Club, starts at 15:50. So plenty more to come, but he's put down a marker. That's why he's raising his thumb to his crew and to his rivals. I think that was a very good, fair race there out on the circuit. So Cedric's looking pretty happy. Let's find out what he really thinks about it all, because Dakota's diving in with the microphone.
Congratulations, that was a very dominant win.
Merci.
Well, let's hope you go get your trophy now and have a great day.
Yes. Bon, je vais parler en français. La dernière fois que je suis monté sur le podium, c'était pour le titre de champion de Trofeo, mon premier titre en 2011. C'est la première fois que je reviens là depuis. Première course, je suis content. Parfait.
Congratulations.
Merci. Merci.
Okay, well, there's a happy man, Cedric Lima. It's first time on the podium for 3 years. It's his first appearance in this championship, and he says he really rather likes it. So a quick slug on his drinks bottle, and then he'll go up the stairs to the podium. So he's made quite a mark on his debut, and for those behind them might be thinking, oh, I quite fancy getting a Lamborghini Huracan, because he certainly made that really move around the circuit. Great variety of cars up at the front end of the field, but after this morning's qualifying race for the Blancpain GT Sports Club, it's Advantage Lamborghini ahead of 2 Ferraris, and then in 4th place, the Chevrolet Corvette. You can see the cars from the Iron Cup pulling in behind. 48 was the winner in that class. That was Martin Lanting. Jan Brunstedt, the 98 Audi, also pulled up behind. And number 25, third in the Iron Cup class, was Louis-Philippe Seunen, Belgian racer. So let's have a look at the highlights of the race, and it looked very good indeed for the pole starter, the Corvette of Nicolas van Dierendonck. He got half a car length clear, 1 car length, 1.5 car lengths. We're looking through the windscreen of Michel Bronicheski. Does he fancy a dive to second place? Not close enough to go up the inside of Cedric Lima. All very orderly indeed. A couple of people gaining place in the first corner, and unfortunately, well, running wide and across there was car number 48, which is Martin Lanting. I beg your pardon, it's Patrick van Glabiker. It wasn't 48, but he gained a place there. He didn't have to give it back. I think it was all okay. But at this point in the race, it looked very good indeed for the Corvette racer, Nicolas van Dierendonck. Seemed to have matters under control, all very close behind, particularly in the midfield. It seemed to be a sea of Ferrari 458 Italians. But this is a moment down into turn 5. There was no trouble brewing at all. And then was there a mistake? Was there a missed gear change from the Corvette racer? And not only did he lose first place to the Lamborghini, down the inside further around the lap into turn 10 dived Michel Bronicheski. So first became third in less than half a lap. Those behind really getting in tight to the mix. Then Jean-Michel Baer, he was running in 8th place, and he lost about 8 positions. That little spin into the gravel, quite an unusual place to go off. But Cedric Lima, having got into the lead of the race, just controlled matters. There was nothing that could be done by Michel Bronicheski to close him down. Alexis de Bernardi in the 65 Ferrari, plenty of racing for him to do. And poor Stephen Earle leading the Iron Cup class, and then round he went. As you can catch in the back of the photo, his right rear tyre had already gone. It had been a big puncture, nothing to do with Stephen there, but he had to pay the price. So he didn't take victory in the Iron Cup, but victory overall, coming for the checkered flag there. Cedric Lima, welcome to the championship, and a great job for him. 4.4 seconds clear of Michel Bronicheski, with Mario Cordoni third in the 49 Ferrari. Plenty of variety, plenty of racing, and the main feature race this afternoon. Bronicheski already landed the championship in round 4 at Spa-Francorchamps, but for Nicolas van Dierendonck, he closed in on the points there. 40 points between them, no chance of that being closed down. Mario Cordoni, but look, Martin Lanting leading the Iron Cup. He's 4th overall in the outright championship, so going very well for him. He just picked up 8 points for winning the Iron Cup, and in 11th place overall, but doing incredibly well in the overall championship. And just see how many drivers have picked up points through this, the second series of the Blancpain GT Sports Club. Plenty of drivers getting great experience in this championship for bronze level drivers. These are not the top level pro drivers. These are people who want to race GT3 cars, and they get to race them on some fantastic circuits, some of which also race in the main Blancpain GT series. But a whole host of drivers enjoying the classic circuits that are visited by the crews in the Blancpain GT Sports Club. So we're just really awaiting the arrival on the podium of our top, well, 6 drivers. It'll be the top 3 drivers overall and the top 3 in the Iron Cup. Smiles all round. Handshakes up on the podium. It's great to see that level of gentlemanly behaviour. And here comes our winner. So first out was Mario Cordoni. Michel Bronicheski saying that's the top step. I'm normally up there, but you can have it this morning. Cedric Lima for Lamborghini. So those are the strains of the Swiss national anthem. Polish driver Michał Broniszewski in second place, and Italy's Mario Cordoni, the first to get his trophy. He looks pleased with his morning's enterprise, but the big points on offer this afternoon. 25 points for a win in that. It's been an enormous trophy cabinet in the Broniszewski household, and you sort of feel with Cedric Lima, he ought to start building a very big one himself, because clearly with that sort of performance he'll be picking up many more trophies at this level. All the drivers aware that they've got activity later today, the 40-minute feature race coming this afternoon, but between now and then, of course, we've got the main race of this race weekend, the final weekend of the Blancpain GT Series, and the main race for the GT Series itself. Packed grid of cars, and plenty to fight for in the many championship classes. We've almost got the outcome sorted in the Sprint Cup, but the overall Cup, that too needs to be sorted. And then all the levels vary all the way down. But there on the giant place board, you can see victory for the 963 Lamborghini. First driver out, car number 25 racer, that's Louis-Philippe Cernan. Jan Brunstedt, Swedish racer. Good performance for two Audi drivers there. And then out, Martin Lanting. Yes, he's enjoyed his morning's activities. Up onto the top step. Yeah, big smile there. Based in Monaco, Dutch by birth and happy by nature. So 8 points for victory in the Iron Cup. Double thumbs up from Martin Lanting, but 8 points were fantastic for his championship challenge, but as much as anything, he enjoyed just a brilliant race. That between 8th and about 14th places, they were nose to tail, going around each other all the time. They had a proper race out of there, and for a lot of the drivers, the championship's one thing, but it's about enjoying their weekend's entertainment, and that really was very entertaining. But best of all, that was a 25-minute race. They've got the 40-minute race, the finale of the 2016 Blancpain GT Sports Club to come this afternoon. So a quick lunch, meat for the crew, vegetables and salad for the racers. And of course, you win the race, you get on the podium, you get to spray the champagne. All part of the package of motor racing. Louis-Philippe Cernan will need a new ear. That was a direct shot from our race winner, Martin Lanting. So the drivers aged 60 and over in the Iron Cup, really enjoying their activity here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. The smile says it all. Martin Lanting, what a successful morning. He takes the 8 points for victory in the Iron Cup, 11th place overall. And don't forget, he's placed 4th in the outright Blancpain GT Sports Club Series. So he's had a really successful year so far. Podium ceremony now complete. Chance for the cars to be taken and checked over, and busy program here in Barcelona, so plenty more racing to follow afterwards. But just looking down across from my commentary position to the 6 cars, they all look entirely different, brilliant liveries, great cars, and a lot of the drivers really enjoying this initiative. As we said, promoted by the SRO, a stepping stone providing ground between club competition and professional racing, and to do so alongside the Blancpain GT Series is fabulous indeed. And here's a reminder of the points. Club driver points, 87, Michał Broniszewski. Championship already in the bag last time out. Finished second on the track this morning. Nicholas van Dierendonk, hoped for more. Started on pole, fell back to 4th place. He's second. Mario Cordoni would have gained a little bit in 3rd place. He was 3rd on the track. Martin Lanting, maximum points in the Iron Cup. We'll see his advantage in that shortly. Daniele Perfetti, he was one of the 4 racers so far this year. Well, there will only be 4. And he wasn't here this weekend, so Patrick van Glabeke was able to gain a little bit of ground. And here we go. Martin Lanting, not quite home and hosed. Stephen Earle still has a chance. And don't forget, Stephen now 16 points behind. It could have been the other way around, or certainly less of an advantage to Lanting, because Stephen had that puncture, dropped him down to the back, but he did come out and take the points for 4th in class. Will that be the difference between them at the end of the season. Jan Brunstedt, good points for him, sort of solidify his position in third place overall in the Iron Cup. So conditions have been absolutely perfect here. Cooler than yesterday, I'd suggest. Clouds blowing in a little bit, but we're really looking forward towards the final round of the Blancpain GT Sports Club this afternoon. 40 minutes of racing with 25 points on offer for the winner. Will it be Cedric Lima? He took victory this morning on his debut appearance in the championship in his ex-Barnick Racing Team Lamborghini Huracan. Can he do it again? You'd have to think he might. Let's wait and find out.